Arabian Mornings for all your Arab-related news.
On our headlines today, we have several groundbreaking headlines.
First, our first story, we head to our ace reporter, Abdul Alashabala, for our report on the Armenian genocide.
Okay, so first off, the Armenian genocide was one of the first genocides in the century, being carried out by a Turkish national reform group going by the name the Young Turks. They're currently leading a rebellion against the Sultan, and three members currently suspected of genocide are Enver, Kemal, and Talat Pasha, who are currently dominating the group. On April 24th, some 600 elite Armenians, all of them male, were rounded up and killed. The U.S. ambassador to Turkey provided a report to his superiors. At least 600,000 people had been killed in the genocide, and perhaps as many as 1 million. Currently, no allied power is coming to the aid of the Armenians, though President Woodrow Wilson has not given up on the republic.
We'll be back after a quick word from our sponsor. Build a bump. That place really heals in my mind.
Today, we have with us Faisal I, the current king of Iraq. He started his ideas of movement during World War I, working with the British Army to form an Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire, attempting to let the Arab nationalist movement come into play. He took the role as king of Iraq in 1921 after many years of working to give Arabs their own country. And today he is here with us. Welcome, Your Highness.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here today.
We're pleased to welcome you. Can you tell us a little about what first led you to become inspired to form a nationalist movement?
Yes, well, I have always had a very proud sense of being an Arab and a Muslim. I was born in Mecca, the holy land of all the Arabs, and I'm even a direct descendant of Muhammad. He was a great prophet. He was the prophet of Allah. Since I was a child, we have been under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, and I never thought it to be fair. So the Arabs had to be able to say they were independent, and we do not deserve to be ruled by other people.
And how exactly did you start getting everything together for this?
Very good question. Well, in 1915, I traveled to the city of Damascus to meet with other Arab nationalists, just like me. We all agreed that we wanted to be able to have a freedom of being our own separate countries, just like the Western ones did.
How did your movement first begin?
Well, in the year 1916, I was in charge of the Arab revolt against the Ottomans in Hejaz. We were able to defeat them, and my father became the king of their new independent country. From then on, I continued to launch revolts in all other Muslim areas to have the same results.
What role did Great Britain have, and why did you feel that they would be helpful?
The British showed an interest in me, and they wanted to help me in the year 1918. After I conquered the city of Damascus, I was declared the king of Syria, but only if I agreed to help to support the British military. They promised me that they would help me to make Syria an independent country. I trusted them because I was very hopeful to have the Arab nation that I had been working towards very, very hard.
How did you lose the power from the throne?
I found out soon after I became king that the French were very interested in taking control of the land of Syria. I did not know why, but I tried to make peace with them and allow them to occupy a little bit of the country, but they don't like to listen. They have very good military, and they were stronger than us, so they take over the country, and they exiled me. So I went to London to be with my British friends there.
What did the British do from that point?
Well, I found out that they were occupying what you Westerners call the sphere of influence in the area of Iraq. So the British said they were very nice about this. They said they would let me be the king of Iraq. And this was in the year 1921, I believe. So they tell me that I can rule, and Iraq will eventually gain independence. I signed a treaty with them, and it's very good, very good.
What was your main goal as the king of Iraq?
Well, I never had any specific preferences over where I had to be, because my main goal was just to rule an Arab nation and to make the Arabs very good with each other. So I wanted to make them all feel like they were united as big Arab friends that we all are. And I worked very hard to keep the peace with my British friends, because in the end all we really want is the independence.
And did that independence ever happen?
Yes, it did actually. In 1930, after many negotiations with the British, because they said when I became the king that eventually they would help Iraq become the independent country. We signed the papers that made them one. And then in 1932, we joined the League of Nations. And we made an agreement. The British are still allowed to have their soldiers there in Iraq, but we are a very free and independent country.
What was the Faisal-Wiseman Agreement?
Wow, in 1919, my friend Dr. Reisman, he is the president of the World Zionist Organization, and him and I, we agreed to let the Jewish people occupy the Holy Land of Palestine. Although it was originally under the Arab rule, the Jewish felt as though it's their dominant Holy Land, and who am I to take it away? And besides that, we have the Holy City of Mecca. So we made a very peaceful agreement. Everything very good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, anytime.
Our next guest is known for his westernized ideas and rapid reforms. As his name implies, he always moved faster. Please welcome our next guest, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk.
Actually, it is Mustafa.
I apologize. You know, you don't have a mustache, though. Anyway, welcome to Arabian Morning. So tell me, your country, Turkey, is the last of the remains of the Ottoman Empire after it broke away after World War I. Why are you trying to get rid of all of its vast culture?
Well, those turbans were very itchy and made my head look huge. And also, we had to reform so we could help people with the rest of the world. We came out of the empire. We will not be overpowered by another one.
Wow, so passionate. How did you come to be the first president of Turkey?
I was a military officer in lead of the Turkish national movement in the Civil War of 1919.
What are some of your reforms you made for your country?
Well, I forbid that women wear those veils and that men wear their fezzes. And civilians also had to adapt formal surnames to emulate our European friends. I mean, if it wasn't for the British breaking up the Ottoman Empire after World War I in 1918, we wouldn't even have a Turkey, even though we did defeat them when I led the Battle of Gallipoli during World War I.
Well, was it difficult growing up in the Ottoman Empire?
I was born in 1881, and my father, who was in the military, died when I was just 6 years old, leaving my mother to look after myself and my only other surviving sibling who survived childhood, Makbule. When I was 14 years old, I enrolled in military school, and then I went on to graduate the Ottoman Empire Military College in 1905.
I hear that a lot of women have been struck down by that Mustafa fever. So why do you think that is?
Well, one way to westernize was to give equal rights to women, to everyone, equal women. In Turkey, women had the same rights as men and were given the right to vote in 1934.
Well, I heard that you created the term Statism. What is that? Can you explain that?
During the economic crisis of 1913, I developed Statism, which is a way to help control state control means of production through the banks.
What kind of foreign affairs did you go through during the time as president?
Well, during the rise of fascism and Nazism, I guess Turkey became closer to nations like France and Britain.
Well, it was great to have you on our show, Mustafa.
Mufasta. Great to be here. Farewell.
Hello, Mr. Gurion. How are you today?
Hello, it is very good to be here.
So I understand you're working towards learning Arabic.
Well, it was a few months ago, but I've given up. It's just too hard of a language, We had that man on here before, and I was listening to him backstage. I could not understand a word that man was saying. He was going on and on about something. I had no idea what he was saying the entire time.
That is very interesting. So what is your opinion on the current Arabs living in Palestine?
Well, we always want to be peaceful. We don't want to fight them all the time. And so, if they want to leave, we'll let them leave. And if they want to stay, they can become full Israeli citizens and no questions asked.
And what do you plan on doing to defend yourselves from surrounding neighbors?
Well, we are building up a Jewish army slowly, and we hope that, but we do hope that people won't resort to violence, because we do want to be a peaceful state. And we don't want to immediately have to fight every person who comes our way, because then we know that we could never exist in the world.
So, Mr. Gurion, what were some of your prime moments in your childhood?
I had a very hard life. I was always moving around. I've been from Poland to Turkey. I lived in America for a few years. I've also been in Great Britain. I've learned a lot from my travels. The most important thing that I learned was that we need a people's government, and the people need to really know what's going on and be informed. And I believe that is why we need a state of Israel, because all the Jewish people need to have a place where they can all come together and be one. Because without it, we have no way of uniting. We have no central land area, and we need that in order to truly be a centralized Jewish culture, I believe.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gurion.
Thank you. It's been a great time.
Thanks for watching Channel Hansa News with Nikki Nuclear Bomb.
The bomb is silent!
Okay, fine. The bomb is silent. And Paul.